All right. Caroline, you're the first block, although I feel like maybe I don't know where Quentin would be if he had his video on, so I'm not sure how fair it is, but we'll go with you.
I did the tests for this interview from Hal, and I'm waiting for we have a new admin person, and so she's gotten sidetracked. I'm waiting for her to finish comparing the PDFs to the web pages, and I know she's already caught some errors, but I sort of feel like I want her to do the whole thing because I have to switch. Switching gears between interviews is a little tricky for my brain. And so I'm working on this divorce interview. And once again, family law is very complicated. And there's so many ifs. And anyway, so that's what I'm working on now. I'm trying, my short-term memory keeps shorting out, but that's what I'm working on. And I'm sorry for missing so much. Abigail's nanny got sick last week, and I flew down to Kenai, and I've been doing grandma nanny care for 4 days, and I know it's exhausting now. I really know how exhausting it is.
Yeah.
So we got back Wednesday night, but all I've been doing pretty much is childcare for a week. So anyhow, I was looking forward to that long weekend.
It was an even longer weekend.
Catching up, I got even further behind.
All right.
Yeah, so that's me, anyhow.
Michelle.
Not much. I made a release, I think that was that this week. A release that allowed, I don't even remember what it did. It was good though. It was good.
Kiln testing?
Yeah, it was something for ale kiln, but like blow me right if I remember what it is.
It'll come back to you if somebody else is talking, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, you can trigger GitHub tests when you're making a pull request. And it should work for tags as well, for that matter. It should work for like anything now.
So this is the GitHub testing rather than the put it on your server testing, because that already works on your server testing, right? Every time when you do a pull request, not a commit.
Right. So AleKiln in the playground isn't affected.
Right.
But all tests in GitHub are affected. It's in the announcements channel in DocAssembly Slack. If like there's a little bit more information for and a link to the documentation for it. So
that's exciting.
Yeah, so that's cool. And yeah, haven't gotten maybe I have. I don't know. Don't remember. I'm sorry. Next.
Quentin.
I'll be at my desk in a few minutes, but I don't know that I have a lot to report. I did do definitely a couple of minor releases, fix some bugs in the Weaver, and there's a release of dashboard and the line this week too, or at least in there. Patch that made it to main. This week, there's not much of this week left, but we're writing this paper that we're going to turn in by Monday. So
not much this week left.
I may kind of keep refining the use of OpenAI in order to publish to add all the labels to the document. I've talked about that before. But if I can get it finished, I may do a dashboard release with it at least.
All right, cool.
But we'll see.
All right.
You're not realistic today.
Well, since you didn't give the big news, I'll give it. We now have a job listing, just shared in the chat, for our legal tech core community liaison role. So tell all your friends. I've already received multiple applications.
You have already?
Yes.
Oh, great. That's
Oh, I
good.
was curious. Yeah, I guess I don't have access to that, but how many do we have so far?
Well, I haven't actually looked at the official dashboard. I've just had people ping me and say I just put in an application. So
Got it. Okay.
I should be able to get access to that though. But yeah, so lots of interest.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's fantastic.
And in addition to those people who have told me they've put in a thing, a good number of people told me they're going to put in a thing. So lots of interest, but the more the merrier. We'd love to. I think we'll be able to find someone good.
That's
Looking
fantastic.
at interest. I just hope that we have similar interest when we have our next hire, which will be the more technical one. But anyhow, tell all your friends. That's the point. If you're watching online, I know you don't
Yeah.
have
Oh, yeah.
the link. So if you
You must be
just
a super fan in that case, though.
yeah, but we know they exist. Well, we think they exist, but that was really for the deep dive. I don't know. Maybe they exist for this one too. Anyhow, super fans, deep cut people, completists, whatever. If you Google Suffolk Law Clinical Fellow, Legal Tech Court and Community Liaison job opening or something like that, you'll find the list and the listing, I'm sure. Or you can check out our socials on Mastodon or LinkedIn, and you will likely find a link as well. All right. Yep, that was my, that was my bit.
When Quentin, when you get back to your desk, I actually do have a question that Michelle tried to explain to me, and I couldn't get it. And I'm just wondering, it's when you do an interview order, I thought that when you satisfy something, that that would stop the order. And it may be the way we're doing these HTML accordion steps that's not working. And I don't know if another explanation on another day or from a different person would help me understand why I'm not exiting that. So
that's almost right. It's when you run into another exception that it won't go back. Wait, maybe I'm saying this wrong.
I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to say, okay, we've reached where we want to go. I don't want to pursue this interview order anymore. So I have the interview order is on my, block is on my parent page. And so it's minor children go to this other YAML for the rest of it. And then it's minor children, and then it says get steps, and get steps is supposed to be the final thing in the accordion. But if I put get steps equals true earlier, I was hoping it would hit that and then be done. But it's not, and I don't understand it, and I didn't really understand Michelle's explanation of why I can't leave early.
It's just not, I don't think you can, it's not guaranteed to leave early. Is it maybe a different way to say it? Like it will try going through and until it hits an exception, something that it can't define. And then it will keep going. It won't necessarily stop running at that point unless it hits another exception, and then it won't try to go back.
Do I want it to, if I want it to leave, or if I want to say, okay, we're done, don't keep going through these things.
I wouldn't rely on that feature to do that, basically. I would say maybe write out the flowchart logic, like with if statements.
Yeah.
In a
so
more
how would you, do you have an idea of a good way to get out of that?
Maybe just separate the blocks into multiple smaller blocks. That might be all you need for what you're describing.
Okay. And so the thing is, if you've reached the end of the block, then that's
it. It won't start another block unless you triggered that second block.
Oh, maybe that's the way to do this. Because I kid you not, we have in this divorce interview, T, what letter of the alphabet? T, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 20 conditions. to get to the answer on many of them. So it's kind of frustrating. All right, so I'll ask Michelle to help me see if we can figure out how to do different blocks for this fairly sophisticated. It's not sophisticated, it's complicated. Complicated doesn't make sophisticated. Okay. All right, that was my question. What paper are you talking about anyway?
It'll, David, you're
Oh,
muted.
Oh, no,
sorry.
I was muted. I was like, and then I was trying to move things around to get around muted. But you could say Quentin, it's your baby. Quentin's first author. So
well, we're writing about our Weaver, which the first time we haven't written anything else that's published about it. And specifically, we're trying out some new AI powered stuff, and including the Word document automatic labeling is one of the AI features that we're trying to talk about in this paper. So we're doing the thing where we commit to writing a paper about something, and then therefore we have to finish doing the thing.
We have to finish it. So yesterday there was an accessibility webinar, Illinois, somebody, ADA, and one of the things that they talked about, I wasn't able to, I'm going to go back and listen to the rest of the recording, but somebody called and I couldn't finish the webinar. But one of the things they talked about in Word documents is how important it is to actually put the title of the Word document into the info properties summary metadata of the Word, and that Office 365 tends to make an intelligent guess at what the title of the Word document is based on the file name, but of course that's not always what you want. But don't we already give it a file name, not a file name. We already give it a title in DocAssembly. I mean, if you're going to download, isn't that already there? Or is that something that I just need to make sure I put into the Word doc? And I mean, I'm asking this sort of hypothetically because right now I upload a docx and I'm using my DocAssembly to give people PDF downloads. But ultimately, the forms person, that was the other thing I wanted to say, is she emailed me this morning to say, are we going to have a meeting Monday morning? And I'm hoping if we're having a meeting Monday morning, she'll be able to attend and I can introduce her to everybody, Melissa. But she says that the current e-filing they're using only wants docx submissions, not PDF submissions, which I think is a little strange. But anyway, if that's true, if that's going to be true by the time we're submitting things, does DocAssembly give the Word doc a title, or is that something we ought to make sure we include in our steps when we're building our docx templates?
If you can do it when you make the docx template, that's probably
the safest.
It's probably a good idea to do that.
Okay. Yeah, that was something I didn't realize, I didn't realize that was a thing. And I'm not exactly sure why. I guess it's just helpful to the user who's using a screen reader to know what the title of the docx instead. I guess it's because everybody knows it, so you're leaving people out if you don't put that in. And somebody asked, I mean, if it's in and I wasn't really clear because so you would think if that's the title of your docx paper, that you would put that in the header of the document. And so I don't know why. I'm not really clear why. I don't understand all this thing about the title, why it's important, why the title is important anyway. But I don't know. I don't know where else you'd see it.
Yeah, it's interesting. because I'm not sure why the circumstances in which that would be different for a sighted person versus a
Mhm.
non-sighted person. Right. You'd think the title isn't visible to a non-sighted person, but it's also then it's also not visible to the sighted person.
Right.
So I guess maybe it's just a good idea, but I'm not sure if it's tied directly to accessibility. But I could, but maybe that's something I would have to see from doing more research, or maybe it's answered in the rest of that video.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could also be an idiosyncratic thing about how they're taking in the document.
Yeah.
That's true. Maybe if you just read the first line of the document, we're drawn to that visually because of the size, and maybe there's like front matter at the top, like extra text there that's not the title of the document before you get to the real title.
And she was sort of going back and forth between at some point she was talking about HTML, and I thought, well, we're talking about making Word documents accessible. Why are you talking about HTML? And maybe I missed something she said that she was talking about that. But it may be, some people, I mean, my browsers are usually set up. If I open a Word document, I have to download it in order to see it. But maybe some browsers, particularly web accessible browsers, have an extension that opens the Word document in the browser, and then there maybe the summary, that they can read the summary there. They can read the summary, what it is in that. If it's a non-sighted, low-sighted, somebody who's visually impaired, that might be, maybe that's it. I have to say, it was not giving this webinar my full attention.
Was this done by A to J Go Tech?
I don't think so. No. I think it was, or the people who did it. I mean, I don't know if A to J Go Tech, do the series, but it sounded like it was a series of accessibility, and the person who was doing it is from Washington University. I'm saying Illinois. I don't know why I said Illinois, but
Washington University of St. Louis, or
of course, I immediately thought Washington. It's the state of Washington. I'll go back and look at it, because I had some other questions that I really wasn't clear on, and then I asked a question and she didn't answer it at all. She misunderstood. I mean, you have to type your questions in, so I obviously, and I think I wasn't really clear enough in my head about what the questions were, because I'm trying to understand what she was doing. So title attribute on here. Okay.
This is the title for an HTML element, which does make sense.
Yeah.
But that should be clear. Or removed probably sometimes when it's just the same as the thing.
I mean, it was interesting. It was just not I don't know.
Clear. It sounds like it wasn't totally clear. Yeah.
It could be. So anyway, just here. So here's the thing. I would imagine it'd be a recording for it. Let's see. Here could be accessible technology. It was an accessible technology conference series. Is what it is. And this was accessible Word documents. So, and also it's this whole series, I guess, which I hadn't really realized.
Well, that sounds really interesting. Great Lakes.
So for DocX, it says that the built-in title, subtitle, and heading styles are meant to be scanned visually and with assistive technology. I'm not sure if that helps.
Maybe it's using the title style.
About the title of the document, not the headings.
Like the properties of the Word document, right? Like if you go into file, info, whatever.
Yeah,
there's
but it
summary.
says title or subtitle or heading styles. It's not, they're separate things.
Oh, okay, so what was it, what, can you say what you said again?
They're meant to be scanned both visually and with assistive technology. This is a docx title, correct?
Right, yeah.
There's different
So-
things that were our docx
Well,
titles.
there's
but I'll
also,
finish.
there's title, yeah,
see.
there's two titles, right? There's the title that's the style, the title style, and then there's the title there, yeah.
This thing in the properties that you
Yeah,
get to when
that
you go to
property,
file
which,
info,
I mean, that
which I don't
I
think anyone
think
ever
it's
sees.
rare that
really.
you have, yeah, where are you gonna use that?
It shows up if you convert it to PDF. It shows up
Yeah,
in
well,
the
that's
navigation
what I
bar.
was
So
thinking,
maybe
if you
that's
do it,
yeah.
and you see that all the time, don't you? Somebody's converted a docx to a PDF, and then when you see the PDF, it has a docx file name in the top left corner.
Or it's like the template that they originally used did set the title in the info properties, and then it doesn't match the title of the document
Right.
anymore.
One
Right.
one
So
website
this is the
says,
title I think they're talking about.
Yeah, I do
and what
too.
you found.
Yeah.
This style.
yeah, it might depend what they mean. Though one thing says, the file properties for every document should include a brief, blah, blah, title. It's the first thing, the document
Oh.
title is the first thing a screen reader will read aloud.
Oh, well, that, I guess that makes, oh, so when they're reading a docx, they read the title right away, so that's why it's important, whereas we may not need the title because we've already opened the file or something.
Interesting. I can see why it's useful. I'm just trying to figure out what makes it uniquely useful to people who have vision differences. But it's interesting. For
Yeah,
people who rely on
I
screen
thought
readers.
that was really interesting. I mean, I wish, because a lot of it we know, right? And so you sort of tend to tune out. You're like, yeah, 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 yeah. And then you think this, and you think, what? So there may have been more little morsels in there that I missed, you know, when I had to stop attending. But anyway, I thought I'd bring that back to you guys because I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
I was muted. Well, cool. I said, all right. Well, if there's nothing else, we'll go ahead and call the recording. All right.